All right. It's Jared here from Crypto Plan. How's everyone going? I hope you're well. I know I am. I'm getting out and about and outdoors, enjoying the weather. I hope you all are too. Alrighty then, let's get down to business. We don't want to mess around because otherwise we'll fall asleep, right? And this has to be the most boring, the most quiet market, the crypto market since back down in September, October, November, or September and October of 2020. So just shy of a year, we've had super duper action on Bitcoin chart and the rest of crypto in general. And then now we've just gone to sleep again. So I'm just going to address that and what I'm seeing in the charts, and maybe a little bit at the end about what I'm doing whilst crypto's not doing anything, and how I'm doing some trades and trying to make some money, because that's what trading's about. Not every market is firing at every time. So we need to look around and we need to find where we can make our money, where we can hone our skills, and where we can use the things we're learning to try out and take some profits out of the market, because that's what it's about, right? We're not here to, sit and hold forever. Even though some people do say they're diamond hands and they're going to stake forever, I think at some point we've got to take profits, right? And we just need to know when to do that and when to not do that, and when to enter and when to exit. So we are on the Bitcoin chart, and there's a couple of things I just want to continue to point out. I've got a yellow line here, which is, for me, a breakout level. Once price closes a 4-hour candle above that, then a daily candle, then a weekly candle above that, to me, we're back in an uptrend. Our weekly moving average is still pointing upwards, so we've still got time before that becomes bearish. So the quicker we can get above that and start using it as support again and be above a inclining 30-week moving average, the better. Or at least a flattening one. We definitely don't want to see that curling over and us still be going sideways then, because that would be bearish. And we also don't want to see it become resistance the next time it kind of approaches it as well. Up until now, it hasn't really tested it. It's just consolidating below it. But if it starts testing it and getting rejected, multiple times, then we could start being scared a little bit. But in general, I don't think there's too much going on. I just see it how it is that price ran up too quickly. A lot of people are talking about how close it is to a yearly moving average right now, and it's never been this close. But no one's talking about how separate it is to the 30-week moving average or the yearly moving average, and it's never done that before. So you've got to remember whilst there's things happening that haven't happened in other runs, there's things that happen up here that didn't happen in other runs, So the early separation, usually this kind of price action kind of hovered a lot closer to the 30-week moving average until the very end, and it went parabolic, whereas this went parabolic way early. And so therefore it's a cooling off period, so it's a crypto half time. People taking profits, I've talked about in other videos. What is it? It's the Northern Hemisphere summer. Things are quiet, markets are quiet, and you've got to really look around for where money is moving. And like I say, I'm going to have a little sneak peek at a few other markets just to see where money might be moving. Bitcoin just needs to consolidate. I guess the last thing I'm really seeing is that that this consolidation in itself is not bearish, as in it's a if there was a flag here, it's a bearish kind of a bullish channel. Sorry, it's a bullish channel because the price action has been making lower lows and lower highs. So it's kind of like the way over here where it made lower lows, lower highs. Lower lows, lower highs, and then went up. It's kind of just a longer drawn out version of that, or if anything, just a sideways kind of action. So there's nothing that I'm seeing yet that is saying that anything has changed, and it's still just crypto half time. And I don't see any money pouring out of it. I just think we've hit new bottoms. If we look around a lot of other kind of cryptos, we're just back testing previous breakout levels. So if Ethereum went on this massive run and broke right out, it's back tested it, right? If Cardano went on a decent run up, final leg, and it's just back testing a level that it's back tested a few times. XRP, same deal, had a big breakout and then kind of just a pullback and a back test to recent levels, Dash, same deal, big breakout, double leg breakout, and just kind of back testing again where it broke out. And this is normal behavior for markets, this is, and if anything, it's opportunity for anyone that's not in the market to begin to be in the market. And right now is an ideal time. Even Harmony One over here, we could say that it potentially hasn't fully back tested this breakout zone here because it's only come down kind of halfway down this candle. So there is still that potential there that we, buy the dip on 3 cents or whatever, if Bitcoin continues to turn down, which I don't want to see, but the potential is still there that it kind of does close this breakout gap, come somewhere down 4 cents or something like that. But anyway, we've had some bargain dips as it is, definitely has attempted to close that gap. And then, finally game credits, the same deal, solid breakout move here and just back testing it. So it's good from the perspective of like, we get another chance to accumulate at low levels, but boring in the sense of like, yes, we all just wanted it to keep going up and up and up. And then, Peercoin, the same kind of big breakout level, and then just kind of coming back and back testing. Good bit of price action on Peercoin today. So I'm liking to see that volume, well, not volume, but price actions coming in and a little bit of volumes coming in as well on things once they're a bit low. So it just says to me that there is buyers out there at these bargain prices. So that is that. Okie dokie, as promised, I'm looking around other markets because I'm learning the techniques of learning, which I'm telling you about, like breakouts above, stage 1 bases, above 30-day moving averages, breaking out of downward trend lines, these kind of things. So I just want to run through my breakout list. This is just something you can put on your radar if you are into stock trading. Because I know that I am, and there's definitely decent gains that can be made. So first one, and my pink list is kind of ones that are either in stage 1 basing or they're in an area where they're going to do a continuation of a stage 2 move. And for those that aren't aware, the stage 2 moves we're looking for are these kind of really quick upward moves in a couple of weeks. Up to a couple of months and maybe even years. So we have your one-stop systems here. You can see that, price began at this yellow line, came all the way down, kind of tapped a low, did our M pattern, tapped another low back in March there, kind of made its way up, but it was still in the base, it was going above and below the 30-week moving average, so that's our stage 1 where it kind of goes above and below, so down, up, up, and then it was kind of up. So I guess you could have entered here based on this high volume, and that's fine. And if you had a stop loss on the 30 MA, you never would have been stopped out. But you did spend a lot of time still kind of going sideways. So I think for me, the ideal time was when it broke this downtrend. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches, and then a whole bunch of touches throughout here. This kind of green candle here was the good time to enter when it closed and price moved well above this downward breakout line. And you can see down here in the bottom, volume slowly stepped its way up and then it had a big move, So looking at that particular move, what we do, we've got 300% there in one, maybe 2 months kind of thing. So that's a decent move in a stock. We've got one here called Ashford Hospitality. So I'm looking to enter this one. I believe that it's forming a stage 1 base. Once again, kind of couldn't break above the 30-week moving average, kind of came down, tested it, dropped back below it. So it's above it now and it's kind of pulling back. So I'm looking for this one, a pullback, because I think that was the ideal time. So it got on my radar a little bit late. So definitely on this breakout again of the 30-week moving average was the best time because see volumes come up. It's in a sector, hospitality, which is probably going to have a solid bounce, a kind of a post-COVID play. because hospitality is probably going to do really well over this summer and into the coming years when things are opening up and people are desperate to spend their money, which is once again that other reason why I think we're a bit flat in the markets in general, because people went to cash to actually enjoy the money they made in the markets. So that's one there, big volume, and volume still staying strong. So I'm potentially looking to see what happens with this line, if it kind of causes a pullback, this arc here. So we may kind of see some sideways movement and then another good entry point where it touches the side of the arc or kind of bounces off this downward trend line, and then then it's ready to go parabolic again, right? So this could just be the first move of many that goes into a long upward trend. And I guess this is our level up here where things were sideways and before it dropped off a cliff. Basically from February, 2020 when COVID began, but it was already kind of topping, or in a kind of a high top pattern. So this one's that's really been hit. So it's got a lot of ground to make up, but there's a decent kind of 5, 6, 7x there, depending on where our entry point is, right? So AHT, Ashford Hospitality Trust. CLNE, clean energy fuel. So this is the hydrogen fuel cell market. Once again, stage 2 continuation possibly. So big volume came back in after this kind of correction below the 30-week MA. So it's one that I'm kind of looking at. Actually, I've got an order in. So I've got an order in when it, if it breaks out above this line, which I'm seeing is the upper level of resistance, then it's kind of going to be pushing into all-time highs. And if this move was done to get up to all-time highs, then the next move is going to be absolutely parabolic, hopefully. And I've got a target up there somewhere in the kind of $50 range. So that's that one. Once again, you can see the base was formed where it squiggled around the 30-week moving average for a long time. Then this was your ideal entry. Once again there on the chart was that kind of last kind of back test to the 30-week MA. And what would we have got out of that particular move? We would have got, somewhere in the realms of, 600%. So that's super duper move there. And once again, a bullish industry. Sorrento Therapeutics, so they're in, the pharmaceutical biotech space, So this one's, well, it's built a big base, So if we look at this, this whole area here underneath the $15 mark, that's a long base, since 2011, so it's kind of bounced around there. So once this thing does break above this line, and I'm trying to catch it maybe a little bit earlier than that, kind of get a bit of that momentum coming in, then we're going to see some big things, I think. And if we kind of zoom right in, we can see that on the kind of the zoomed in area, that even though there was some big volume here, that was a fake out. So it kind of attempt to get to that line, pulled back. So I think the next attempt could possibly be the one. This slow stepping of volume is a good sign for me while the price is going up. Maybe that's some good solid accumulation there, which could be a good thing. So once again, I've got a stop order kind of set just above this volume node here, the $10, $11 range. And hopefully we're going to catch some profits out of that, because it has done some big moves in short times, as you can see back here, in the kind of 100% ranges in a week. So this thing could explode, and it's one you kind of got to keep your eye out, because it could run away from you very quickly. Pantoro, yes, this is doing a perfect kind of stage 1 basing after a kind of good bounce from the COVID lows. Gold miner in Australia, and it's probably just waiting for the gold price. But once again, looking for volume, looking for price to be moving solidly away from the 30-week moving average. And if we're looking at this particular stock in the moves it has done in the past, so it's done some big moves in the past. Like we're talking 700-800% moves. So if we're talking about repeating those again, coming into a bull market or a good kind of production market for them, Pantoro could do quite well. Boab Metals, reaccumulation after a stage 2 breakout. Silver play in Australia, once again, just looking for what it's doing around that 30-week MA. This kind of pullback to the 30-week MA could be really nice. Boab Metals, some volume came in there on that dip. That's very interesting, very nice, considering silver didn't really do much. But once again, this is heavily tied to the silver price. So you can see its all-time high was when silver reached an all-time high, quite normal. And these spikes are obviously when the silver spikes happen. So probably one just to play with the breakout of silver, but just be aware that it could break out before or could break out after, and just to keep an eye on it. And what it's doing around that 30-week moving average now. The moving average is declining, which is not great, but as long as we stay above it and we get it to kick up, we could see in a couple of weeks that really fires on to the upside. Okapi Resources on the ASX, similar story to the last one, just different company. Stage 1 base after a stage 2 breakout, then a continuation kind of move should happen depending on the resource boom. IQAI Limited, similar thing, big bullish move, pull back to a 30-week moving average. We'll see what happens. Does it hover around there and can break out again on some bigger volume? Mosman Oil and Gas, this is one I'm really super focused on. I've got an order in for this one. I think this is a nice solid base since July 2020. So oil and gas has obviously been beaten up since COVID, but even before that, you can see the big downtrend there. So there's some big moves that could potentially happen in this one, depending on results and whatever. But there's definitely been some volume coming in, which has been on my radar, and some price action. So any kind of solid break above this 0.2 of a pence line is kind of gonna allow a bigger move, because the rest of that, there's very little resistance up there. This was a lot of selling coming into this region, and then the sell-off in March, so March last year. Tanfield Group, similar thing. I really like this tight range that's hovering along there. This was probably got a little while to go, but yeah, solid stage 1 base is being built there. Kibo Energy, looking for a re-breakout. So that was kind of the fake out above the 30-week MA. It couldn't break out it for so long, and then it breaks out, pulls back underneath it, turns it into kind of resistance again. So we've got a level here, 0.31 pence, that we can go into Kibo Energy and just see what we can get out of it. We might get a nice move all the way up to 5 pence there if we were lucky over a couple of months, but if not, we'd be just trailing the stop losses all the way up and capturing what we could. Starcom, another one that could be a little while. It's still very much in the zone of its 30-week moving average, moving up and down below. It's above it at the moment, which is good on higher volume. So we'll see what happens, but you can see this volume node here, so we want to kind of be above these wicks here of, around that 1.18 pence mark. So that'd be kind of our stop limit order, maybe a bit higher there, maybe our stop limit order. So at 1.2 pence, we'll open up an order to say we'll buy it all the way up to maybe 1.5 or something like that, and see what happens. And last one, got some sun run, so that's a solar play. It's had a really good run, pulled back below its 30-week MA. If it can break out of there and do a stage 2 continuation, that's going to be super bullish. It's in the right field, solar, renewable energies, green, the new green, and that's that. So it's a bunch more on this list, and I won't go all through them today, but as they do become on the pink list, I'll keep you up to date of them. All right, I've been Jared. This has been Crypto Plan. I hope you like these kind of, alternative market updates, and just kind of keeping our eye on what we want to happen. And I guess these same moves are what we want to happen in crypto at the moment, is they break above the 30-week MA on volume, but we're waiting for Bitcoin. So that is that. All right, I've been Jared. This has been Crypto Plan once again, and thank you for listening all the way to the end. If you have, you're a true supporter of the channel if you have, and I look forward to chatting to you on the next one. Bye now.